Greetings, one and all, and welcome to episode number 30. We made it to 30 episodes already. 30 episodes of thoughts and hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stoney is back, welcoming all of his fellow hoodlums, lowlifes, hustlers, scumbags, fienders, degenerates. Glad to have you all back. 30th freaking time already, and this is the Sweet 16 version of Thoughts and Hunches. It's time. This is it. This is the greatest time of year, and if you don't like it, then you've got serious problems, right? Well, you've all got serious problems anyway, but that's not the point. This is a great time of year. The weather's getting better. Sun is out. Spring is in the air. I've always equated the end of March Madness to the beginning of baseball season. The beginning of baseball season to the Masters to springtime, the azaleas in the South. Come on, This is it. This is what it's all about. Well, let's go over some numbers before we get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going to take place this weekend in the Sweet 16. Last week in the 32, the second round, the round of 32, we managed to go 10-6, right? Not bad at all. We delivered. That's a solid number. We'll take that. We're now 27-20 and one tie in the NCAA tournament. 57.65% on the tournament. Solid. Overall for the season now, we're 330 wins, 241 losses, and 7 ties. That's 57.79%. There's an outside chance we can get to 58 to close it out, but it doesn't look good. But we're going to shoot for it. We're absolutely going to try for it. NCAA basketball for the season, 171, 115, and 4. That's 59.79. Now 60% is obtainable. So that's what we're shooting for, right? 60% would be fantastic for us to finish off a solid college basketball season. 60% would be great. We'll take that. Those are the goals that we're going to shoot for. We're in the Sweet 16. This is what it's all about. So let's get after it. Game 1 on Saturday. You're going to find a recurring theme happening here amongst my selections. We're going to start with game 1. And again, these are just seeds that I'm giving you. I'm not giving you rankings, and I'm not giving you the actual region that they're playing in. Just giving you the seeds and telling you how they stack up. A good matchup in the very first game out of bed. It's Loyola Chicago, 6.5-point favorites. They're the 8 seed, they're the 9 seed. I can't even read my writing. Yeah, and they're up against Oregon State. Off to a little shitty beginning here, but we're going to pick it up. 12th-seeded Oregon State. Loyola Chicago, 6.5-point favorites. Now, the Ramblers, Sister Jean, we all know the story. She's 147 years old, right? We get that. We understand that. And she's the lady that makes everything happen, and she's got her voodoo going and bullshit. All right. They do have 2 very good wins. Georgia Tech in the first round, Illinois in the second round, and they do it with a stifling defense, right? They're number 1 in the nation in defense, right? They do it the right way. They suffocate you, they frustrate you, and they force you into A, turning the ball over, and B, taking bad shots. So that's their bread and butter. That's what's worked for them, and there's no reason to think why it shouldn't continue tomorrow on Saturday against Oregon State, because Loyola Chicago has now become the darling of the tournament. Everybody's rooting for them. Oh, hey, they made the Final Four 4 years ago, and they're better now, and they're led by Cameron Krutwig right now. Cameron Krutwig, he was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year for a reason. He was a freshman on that team back 4 years ago and didn't really play very much, but he learned and he saw the Ramblers system, and he's really tough to defend inside. He does it all. He does it with quickness. He does it with power. He does it with both hands. He can shoot it. He can dribble it. But most of all, he leads the team. He's the captain, and all things for the Ramblers go around him. Now, they're up against an Oregon State team that is no slouch on defense itself, right? I think their defense is a little overlooked because they've been so good lately, but a month ago, they weren't even in the mix for a bid in the tournament. And then they ran the table in the Pac-12 tournament, got the automatic bid, and haven't slowed down. Tennessee and Oklahoma State, two very good schools from the SEC and the Big 12, were their first two casualties. And neither one of them were even in those games. I mean, well, all right. Oregon State, Oklahoma State was a good game, and Oklahoma State had their share of leads. But in the first round against Tennessee, the Vols never even had the lead that game. But Oregon State took down Oklahoma State, and they're doing it behind Ethan Thompson, right? This guy's a matchup nightmare. He scores with both hands, and he's getting it going. But their defense right now is just as good as Loyola's. Loyola's I want to say they're 51 points per game, but Oregon State is only allowing 53 points per game. So if it's going to be such a low-scoring game, right, the total's only at 126, and everybody's still pounding on the under, right? The under might be a good play, but while everybody keeps doing that, I think in such a low-scoring game, Loyola's not going to beat up Oregon State and beat them by double figures. It's just not going to happen. So I like Oregon State. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take 6.5, all of them. Hopefully it goes up to 7 by the time tip-off rolls around. It could be detrimental to my bankroll, as I've already gone against the Ramblers twice in this tournament, and they've cost me both times. But Oregon State right now is playing good ball, just as good as Loyola. I'm not saying Loyola Chicago loses. I'm not saying Oregon State wins, but Oregon State does get the cover. Game 2, number 1 seeded Baylor, 7.5 point favorite over 5th seeded Villanova. Great matchup right here. I mean, what can you say? Baylor is in their 5th Sweet 16 in the last 12 years. Right? That's solid for a good Big 12 school, right? They're coming off wins over Hartford and Wisconsin in the first 2 rounds. Neither one of them were very close. Baylor's looking good. They're getting better. Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell lead the way for Baylor, but they also have I don't want to say stifling, but they have a ball hawking defense that forces a lot of turnovers, so which leads to transition, because Baylor loves to get easy baskets, and that's what they're going to do, or that's what they're going to attempt to do against Villanova. Nova comes in having beaten Winthrop in North Texas. Now, people might look at that and say, well, they got lucky under the draw. Winthrop, okay, fine, that was a 5-12 matchup, but North Texas, they were lucky because of an upset. But Nova, neither one of those games were very close. Villanova's looking good. It's their 7th Sweet 16 in the last 20 years. Jay Wright has it going on. Hell of a coach, and he's getting it done right now without super all-everything point guard Connor Gillespie. He's been out, and since then, it's been Jeremiah Earl. He's been stepping up, and he's been delivering right now, right? Nova, it's hard for me to see anybody beating Villanova by more than 8 points, right? Now, they did stumble down the stretch of the Big East, and they allowed Creighton and Georgetown and all these other schools to beat them, but Nova is Nova. I mean, you got to understand, they've won 2 national championships in, the last 5-6 years. So, Jay Wright, there's a team that's been there. They're battle-tested. They know what it takes. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they win the game, but Baylor wins. Nova covers. Take the 7.5. That's 2 straight dogs. Game 3. This is a good one. Oral Roberts, the 15 seed. is 11.5-point dogs to third-seeded Arkansas. The Hogs, the Razorbacks, whatever you want to call them, Eric Musselman has them in the Sweet 16, which nobody saw coming, but Arkansas has put together a hell of a run, and they're one of the hottest teams left in the tournament right now, not named Gonzaga. Colgate and Texas Tech were their first two victims. One of them wanted to run and gun. The other one wanted to slow it down, and Arkansas won both those games. Moses Moody and Justin Smith are the guys, the heartbeat and the pulse for Arkansas, and they're getting it done right now. They are legitimate Final Four threat. Basically, once you get to the Sweet 16, everyone's a legitimate Final Four threat. But as a 3 seed in that region, Arkansas has the makings, and they have the look of a Final Four team. Can they get there? We'll see. 11.5 points, though, is a lot of points to be laying to Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts shocked the world as a 15 seed when they knocked off Ohio State in the first round and backed that up 2 days later by beating Florida. Max Asmus is the man. He gets it done for him. It's spelled ABMUS or ABMAS, Abmes, but it's pronounced Asmus. And this guy, right, let me tell you something, along with Kevin O'Banner, they are playing with no fear. They're certainly not playing like a 15 seed. They have confidence. They've got swag. They've got everything you need. And right now, they're the first 15 seed since Florida Gulf Coast. Remember Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, about 8 or 9 years ago when they made the Sweet 16? Yeah, well, this is only the second team ever, a 15 seed, to make the Sweet 16. Can they make it to the Final 8? No. Arkansas is going to win the game. But, like Oral Roberts, take the 11.5. That's 3 straight dogs to start the day on Saturday. And the final game on Saturday, you've got second-seeded Houston, 6.5-point chalk versus 11th-seeded Syracuse. Syracuse comes in with wins over San Diego State and West Virginia, 2 power programs. Syracuse is a power program themselves, but they stumbled down the stretch, got into the tournament. A lot of people didn't think they even belonged. Most people thought that Louisville, from their same conference, belonged ahead of Syracuse. But here's Jim Boeheim in the Sweet 16 for the 20th time. Just stop and marinate on that for a minute. The 20th time Jimmy Boeheim is in the Sweet 16. That's just fantastic. And he does it with the 2-3 zone. It surprises people. It doesn't scare anybody, but it certainly surprises them, and it takes them out of their rhythm. And that's what's worked in the first 2 games against San Diego State and West Virginia. Offensively, Buddy Boeheim, coach's son, is just probably one of the hottest hands in the tournament. Him and Max Asmus right now probably have the 2 hottest hands going. Buddy Boeheim's averaging 26 per, but he's getting a lot of help from Quincy Guerriere. And they're a tough out. They're definitely a tough out, and they're getting 6.5. But that's not going to be enough tomorrow, Saturday. They're finally going to get knocked out, and they're going to get knocked out by Kelvin Sampson's Cougars. Houston is coming in with wins over Cleveland State and a great come-from-behind win over Rutgers down the stretch as they rifled up the defense and got things done when they were trailing. This is their first chance to reach the Elite Eight since they did it 3 years in a row in 82, 83, 84 with a little team called Phi Slamma Jamma and a couple of Hall of Famers and Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler and Larry Mishaw. That team was, and that was Guy Lewis, the head coach back in the day. Well, Kelvin Sampson's got him 1 win away from reaching their best ever finish. Not their best ever finish, but leading them back to the Final 8 in 40 years. So, DeJon Jarreau right now, this kid, right, he had a bum hip. He got bumped on the hip, and he was hurting, and he came back late in the game against Rutgers and led them to a win. Quentin Grimes and Marcus Sasser, the scorers, they're the guys that get it done for Houston. But Giroux, if his hip is halfway ready to go, this team is dynamic. They run, they can, and again, they can slow it down and they can win in a fast paced offense. They're used to blowouts. They have that blowout capability. I'm not saying their game against Syracuse is going to be a blowout, but it ain't going to be very close. I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. The public's all over Syracuse because it's a school they know. They know Jim Boeheim. They know the Cuse. They know the Orange. They know everything about him. They probably still think Carmelo plays for him, but they're in trouble tomorrow. Houston takes them down and covers the 6.5. So Saturday's picks are Oregon State, Villanova, Oral Roberts, and Houston. Those are your 4 picks for Saturday. Now we move on to Sunday for the second half of the Sweet 16, and it all starts with top seeded, top ranked, top everything Gonzaga. Their 13-point shock against number 5 seeded Creighton. Creighton comes in with impressive wins over UC Santa Barbara and Ohio, 2 very good programs. This is Creighton's first Sweet 16 in 47 years. Marinate on that one. Now, Creighton, a lot of people say, was hurt the most by COVID and the cancellation of last year's tournament because they were even better last year, and they were an excellent team last year. But with the cancellation of the tournament, they didn't get a chance to do it. So now they're heavily leaning on Marcus Zagorowski, the big man, and he's doing it. He's doing it. He scores, and he's a tough matchup. But he's getting help from Damian Jefferson, and the Blue Jays are going to be a tough out. But they're 13-point dogs, right? They're up against the best team in the country. And until somebody proves that they can play with the Zags, you got to keep rolling with them. I'm not going to be that guy who bets against the Zags just because he wants to see how they react in a close game. I want to be the guy that makes money. And right now, the Zags are making you money. They're making me money. They're making everybody money. Anybody that's taking the Zags are rolling. Norfolk State at one point was down by 50 in the first round, even though they were getting 34. Oklahoma played Gonzaga tough as hell in round 2. And still lost by 17, not covering the number. This is Gonzaga's 6th straight Sweet 16 under Mark Few. Talk about just, dominance and, steady as they go. They're celebrating every win, right? It's the win over Oklahoma the other day was their 25th straight double-digit win, which is just stupid to even fathom, which means nobody's keeping the games close. They have 4 guys in their incredibly efficient offense that can drop 20 on you at any minute, right? In game 2, it was Drew Timme, the big man. He went off for 30, a career high. Never scored that much. Dominated inside the paint. Corey Kispert, first team All-American. He's going to get his 20, right? Jalen Suggs, Joel Ayayi, they just keep coming. And right now, like I said, I'm going to roll with the Zags until somebody proves me wrong. Not going to happen tomorrow. Not going to happen Saturday. Zags win, cover the 13. Game 2 on Sunday. This, I think, is going to be the best game of the weekend. This one or the last game. But this one right here, number 1 seeded Michigan is taking on 4th seeded Florida State in what just looks to be an all-out war. Michigan got wins, pretty easy wins over Texas Southern and LSU. In round 2 against LSU, a lot of people, including myself, took LSU, thinking LSU, and some people took them on the money line, thinking LSU was going to beat them outright. Nope, Michigan got it done. They keep winning without Isaiah Livers. Isaiah Livers is their do-all everything man, and he's been out, and there's really no timetable on when he's going to come back. Head coach Juwan Howard just keeps saying He's out indefinitely. He's out indefinitely. He might just show up in uniform and play on Saturday. Who knows? Or if they win in advance, maybe the next game, or maybe in the Final Four. Don't know. But right now, they're getting it done without Isaiah Livers. And a lot like Gonzaga, they have an extremely efficient offense that gets things done. But they're going to have a tough time because their two big men right now are 7'1" freshman Hunter Dickinson and Franz Wagner, the brother of Mo Wagner. And these are the big men, and they're going to have a tough time getting their shots off in the paint because FSU is coming in, and this team comes at you in waves. They go 11 deep, and Leonard Hamilton has the stable, and he's got the thoroughbreds, and he just keeps bringing them out. Fresh legs, fresh bodies, athleticism, size, length. They're almost interchangeable, all 11 of them. They don't really have anybody shorter than like 6'4" on their team. Everybody else is in the 6'8". It's like, imagine 11 tight ends from the NFL just running out at you, banging, blocking shots, fouling, rebounding, putbacks. And if they shoot the ball as well as they have been lately, this is a very tough out. I like Florida State. They're getting 2.5 points, right? They're coming off wins over NC Greensboro and a very good Colorado offensive team that they held to 53 points somehow, some way. Anthony Polite, MJ Walker, these guys are just starting to fill it up right now. Polite, especially from downtown lately, right? Raekwon Gray, he started knocking down some shots. And Florida State, like I said, I'm usually not one to go for a team like that that's really not known for their shooting, but they're getting hot while they're shooting, and they're the most athletic team in the country, are still going. And I'm going to take Florida State, take the 2.5, go Noles. Game 3 on Sunday. 2nd seeded Alabama, 11th seeded UCLA. Alabama comes in a 6.5 point chalk with wins over Rick Pitino's Iona team in the first round and Mark Turgeon's Maryland squad in the second round. Bama's trying to make the Elite Eight for the first time since 2004, so it's been 17 years. It's been a long time, but these guys, Jaden Shackelford, John Petty Jr., they really got it going on, and anybody that watched Bama beat Maryland the other day had to come out impressed. I thought Maryland was going to keep it a lot closer, but Bama just kept coming. And the way they shoot it, the way they run it, they're nonstop, balls to the wall, keep going, pushing. I don't want to compare them to Loyola Marymount of the 90s, but this is a team that runs, and this is a team that goes, and this is a team that scores, and they keep the offensive pressure on you the entire way. Now, they're up against UCLA, who's coming in as a double-digit seed, the 11th seed. They had to win, like Syracuse did. They had to win a first 4 game. So, they beat Michigan State, BYU, and Abilene Christian, and it was like they flipped the switch. At halftime of the Michigan State game in the first 4 game, they were down by 10. And since then, UCLA's defense has been top-notch. Mick Cronin was known for his defense when he came over from Cincinnati, and he's done a fantastic job, but they weren't really known for their defense. But let me tell you, the last 2.5 games they've played, they are absolutely known for their defense, and they're starting to get it going. Offensively, they've got the Jays, Johnny Juzang, Jaime Jaquez, and Jules Bernard. These guys can all score. They all have scored, and they're going to continue to score. The problem is, can they keep up with Bama, or can they slow down Bama? I say yes. I'm going to take the 6.5. Bruins plus 6.5. Finally, the last game of the weekend, Sunday night. This one's going to be a war, too. 6-seeded, and just like the Bama-UCLA game, where UCLA is going to try to slow you down and Bama's going to try to run, we got the same thing going here in the final game. 6-seeded USC and 7th-seeded Oregon are getting it on. USC 2-point favorites. Obviously, they're Pac-12 foes. They know everything about each other. USC knocked off Drake in the first round and absolutely obliterated Kansas by 30 in the second round, giving Kansas, a true blue blood, their worst loss in their tournament history. Oregon comes in after losing the Pac-12 tournament, but they got a walkover in the first round because they were supposed to play Virginia Commonwealth, and they came down with COVID, so they couldn't play. So they automatically advanced to round 2, where they obliterated Iowa in one of the most impressive games that I've seen one team put together, both offensively and defensively. Oregon just had it going. Now, these two teams met once back on February 22nd in LA, and USC beat the hell out of Oregon 72-58, and they did it easily with the Mobley brothers getting it done. Now, Evan Mobley is the man. Everybody knows this. He's the freshman. He was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. He's going to be a top 5 pick. He's a 7-footer. He can score with both hands. Once he puts on weight in the NBA, he's going to be even better. But so far in this tournament, it's been Brother Isaiah that's been a little better. He's the sophomore, and he's been more efficient, and he's been defending better. And but it doesn't matter, because the bottom line is USC runs everything through the two brothers, and they're the heartbeats of Andy Enfield's stable. And Enfield is a very good coach who's been underrated for many years, and he's actually building a program in USC, but a lot like Alabama, their fans don't really care about basketball, which just surprises the shit out of me. But he's up against another underrated coach who I think is one of the best coaches in the country, in Dana Altman. Oregon is just, the way that they do it, and the way that Altman does it, his teams are always competitive. They play good defense, and when they beat Iowa and took them down the other day, I was very, very impressed. And I've been down on Oregon all year, saying they were overranked. They were ranked too high. They weren't a very good team. They were way overrated, and they lost a lot of games. They didn't cover. So they weren't a gambler's friend either, but they kept winning games. And then what they've done down the stretch has been very impressive. And it all starts with Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte is the man. He gets things done. He's both hands, dribble drive to the basket. He's the type of guy that can get the Mobley brothers in foul trouble. He can drive to the hole. He can draw fouls on them. And Eugene Omarui is another guy for the Ducks who he gets after it. He gets after it. He's going to have to play big, because he's going to be guarding one or both of the Mobley brothers. And he's the guy that needs to rebound the ball to start the break for Oregon, while Oregon gets out and tries to force the tempo. USC is going to try to slow him down. Oregon's try to go, 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 go. That's what they want to do. It's only a 2-point game, 2-point number. We're going to take Oregon. I'm going to tell you to take them on the money line. Same thing with Florida State. Those are your two money line plays. And if you want to do that, you'll get better odds. But if you think it's going to be a 1-point game or a 2-point game, then you might want to take the points. So that's it. There you go. There's your 16 plays, or there's your 8 plays for the Sweet 16. A reminder, Sunday, I got Gonzaga -13, Florida State +2.5, UCLA +6.5, Oregon +2. So out of the 8 games coming at you this weekend, I like the dogs in 6. 6 games, I've got the dogs. That's right. There you go. There's your picks. Programming note, the next video you'll see will be very late Sunday night after the Oregon-USC game is finished. And the winner advances, then the lines are posted for the Elite Eight for Monday and Tuesday. And there's only 4 games. But I'll have those up for you before I go to bed very late Sunday night. And we'll go from there. And then the last 2 shows will be next weekend. I'll have one for you on Friday night. 2 games, the Final 4. And then 1 game on Sunday, or 1 game on Monday, but the video will go up on Sunday for the national championship. And that'll be the last video of the season until August when college football starts. So there's your programming notes. There's your 8 plays for this weekend. Let's get paid. Let's make some money and let's hit them hard because, again, there's only 8 games. That's it. You want to play the NIT or the CBI? Contact me, text me, email me, comment on this video. If you're new to this video, click subscribe, share it with your friends, do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter, right? Just get the word out because it's time to get paid. And this is the best time of the year to get paid right now. So 8 plays, there's only 4 plays on Sunday, 2 plays next week. So that's it. There's only 8, 4, 2, and 1. That's 15. There's only 15 games left. So 15 games. I'd like to go 10-5 in the final 15 games. We'll see what happens. Anyway, last but not least, we're going to do some shout-outs. Eddie and Martin, okay, my Irish hoodlum, beer-drinking, breath-stinking, sniffing glue. You guys are out of control, right? Out of control. Love getting together with you. Love chatting with you. Love smoking cigars with you. Love drinking with you. It's my Irish brothers, man. Keep on keeping on. So finally, before I leave, I'm going to leave you with the 4 mottos. Number 1, just remember that there's money on the streets that can't be ignored. Number 2, if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Number 3, for me, the action is the juice. And number 4, good luck to you.